Welcome to the On Deck podcast for all your baseball DFS needs with your superstar hosts, fantasy baseball experts, Casey, Bubba, and Bogman. On Deck podcast is sponsored by LineStar app, the #1 top-rated data and analytics tool for daily fantasy sports.
And welcome back, everybody, to another episode of the On Deck MLB DFS podcast, brought to you by the wonderful people at LineStar Sports. Make sure you check them out on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB. Get all the goods there and download the app. The reason we are doing this show is this wonderful app. You can get it in the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store. It has everything you'll need to build all of your lineups for all sports. If you're playing golf, MMA, basketball still going on with the playoffs. Football's coming up with Bogman and myself covering you there too. So much cool stuff there. So download the app and make it happen. I am on Twitter at BDentric, and my co-host, as always, just mention the guy at Bogman Sports. Scott Bogman, how we doing, man?
I'm good. Weird YouTube day for the Diamondbacks game, where the game isn't on the local network.
I didn't know where you're going for a second. I was like, what rabbit hole did you go down to?
No,
Okay,
no. That's not on
Gotcha.
YouTube. And it's not late enough. So
To use something.
Right, exactly. So it was, Bob Brenly could use a day off, for God's sake.
Ooh.
But
Him and Marty Brenneman gonna be good friends again.
right. Tom Brenneman. Yeah.
Sorry.
Tom, who used to work for the Diamondbacks.
That's I remember them working together.
Oh,
yeah. So I was like,
good
yeah.
Lord. But yeah, so it was Scott Braun and then Luis Gonzalez and somebody else doing the game. And of course, the Diamondbacks choked it. But it was also an interesting day as far as some of these pitchers went. I mean, Manoah, clearly not worth the price today, not worth the price of admission. But I tell you what, Framber, pretty solid, right?
Very good. Framber's very good.
Solid. And Manaea, so far, that game isn't over as we're recording, but Manaea has looked pretty good so far, too.
Yeah, he looks like he's got Seattle doing Seattle things, but still time for goofy stuff to happen because Smiley looked good till the 5th. Smiley gave up a couple runs there. Still not bad for 7,200. I'll take it. But we said it was a weird night for pitching, and it's been just that. It's been like outside of Framber and maybe Manaea, if he keeps going. Buehler's even given up 3 runs. He's getting strikeouts at least, so he's going to finish high on the ledger. But it was all about the Dodgers. They were supposed to do this against John Gant. They did it against Carlos Martinez, scoring 11 runs in the first, chasing him. Bellinger hit the grand slam. Didn't play against Gant. Idiot, Dave Roberts. Idiot. You should have started against Gant. This is very simple stuff. You're making me look bad over here, Dave Roberts.
Well, Bellinger, since coming off the IL, had like 1 for 14 or something. It was bad. Yeah,
you knew you had to come eventually. Like, I'm not saying he's going to go on an absolute tear, but can't be this bad for that long. And Betts is heating up, folks. I know it's like simple stuff, but go look at his lines lately. He's got already 3 hits, I think, on Wednesday night also. So the Dodgers doing Dodger things to the Cardinals, which is always great. The Diamondbacks, as you mentioned, they did lose today, but they still have the best record in June, at least over the Giants. So you got that going for you.
On June 2nd. Great, thanks.
Yeah, I'm trying to make you feel better, Bogman, because it's always doom and gloom. Like we talked about this on the radio show last week.
Yeah, I told you football's starting soon, and I'll watch. I'll watch my teams and have plenty of fun doing that. So
there you go.
Diamondbacks don't even enter into my misery anymore. Like I just expect to be let down. So when they do win, it makes me happy.
And the last thing I'll say before we preview Thursday's action, the Alek Manoah chalk, he was well over 50% on DK, and he's very, very chalky on FanDuel, even though Walker Buehler was cheaper than him. So that was quite surprising. This is why we talk about it a lot. If you're making a bunch of lineups, make sure you have a leverage stack because no one was playing Miami with all that Manoah ownership, and that's how you just skyrocket up the standings. Not always the end-all, be-all, but when it happens, it's very, very, very nice. But let's get into it. 8 games on a Thursday. I only have 4 totals out of the 8 games because a couple of them are pitching changes due to rainouts on Wednesdays. There's 4-game early slate as well, folks. Watch the weather there as you got some rain in a couple places yet again to maybe shorten that slate for you. But we'll start off with Miami at the Pittsburgh Pirates. This is the only weather concern we have. It looks like for now on Thursday night, 35 to 40% chances of rain, but hopefully that one clears up for everybody. We have Hernandez. I believe that's Eliezer Hernandez.
It is coming off the IL.
Beautiful against Tyler Anderson. Hernandez is 76 on DK, not on FanDuel yet. He will be eventually. And Anderson's 82 on DK, 72 on FanDuel. I'm a big Hernandez fan, Eliezer fan. If he's stretched out and good to go, I think it's a phenomenal price point.
Yeah, I mean, it is a really good price. And, the Pirates are somewhat miserable, but I don't know if I want him in the very first start coming back off the IL. So I think I'll probably pass. That coupled with the rain is probably going to make this a don't mess with too much of it, because I actually kind of like Anderson in this game, but and he's cheap too, 8,200, 7,200. But with the rain, I don't know if I really like anybody here. But the pitching is you're gonna just have to find somebody you like and settle on them, because there's a couple of good ones, but they are priced up, and after that, it's pretty garbage.
Yeah, pitching it looks like a price up spot. The one thing I'll say about Hernandez, if you decide to use him because the rain changes or whatever, he made 3 rehab starts. His last 2, he threw 4 2/3 innings, but the last one, he faced 22 batters. He threw a lot of pitches. I don't have the pitch counts on this, but he got hit around his last one. The first 2 starts only got 2 hits combined, but he struck out at least 5 in the last 2 starts also. So it's the Pirates. I could see an angle if you really want to get funky with it, but no bats for you. You said also, you good on that?
Yeah, I mean, there's some bats I like. I like Starling Marte, especially going up against his old team in Pittsburgh. But Adam Frazier's been good, and Brian Reynolds has been good, but there's just no one really here. They're all priced okay. They're not smoking deals or anything. And with the rain, I'm probably just not going to do anything with this game.
Yeah, if the only guys I can think of, you mentioned Marte, Jesus Aguilar, get jazzy with it. Those are the only kind of things I think of. But yeah, we can pretty much cross this game off if the weather is any concern, because we have 7 other games to talk about. And we'll go to Arizona at the Milwaukee Brewers. Frankoff versus Anderson. Frankoff's 54 on DK, no price on FanDuel. Anderson is 87 on DK, no price on FanDuel. Arizona's kind of starting to hit the ball, Bogman. I'm kind of intrigued with them on this one.
Yeah, I'm with you. And I don't know who is going to start this game. Is it going to be Frankoff? Is it going to be Duplantier? The Diamondbacks are kind of up in the air right now. So I think it is Frankoff, which means no thanks. And for Anderson, the D-backs have been hitting, and he's a bit bipolar. So I'm going to pass, but I am going to take some bats here. Cattell is starting to hit, and he's still not overpriced at 41 34. Josh Reddick has been hitting. He had the walk-off knock on Tuesday night's game too. So he's a decent price as well at 28 and 25. Pavin Smith is raking right now, 37 and 26. Eduardo Escobar's got the pop, maybe a little bit overpriced though at 44 and 31. And then on the Milwaukee side, I mean, you do want Milwaukee bats, but they've been so bad. I mean, Wong, Adames, and Garcia are like the guys to buy here.
Yeah, I like the Wong, Adames, Garcia end of things, and they're always relatively affordable, which is always very, very nice. And then Ketel Marte is starting to really get it going, so enjoy him while he's cheap, folks. He'll be up to the 5K range, and, well, I'd like to say in no time, but we saw that with Adolis Garcia, so you never know. Looking at MLB.com right now, they have Duplantier, so it's going to be one of the two, as Bogman said. So keep an eye on that one. We don't know for sure what's happening there. Arizona doesn't know, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
Detroit Tigers at the Chicago White Sox. White Sox got rained out on Wednesday, so Lance Lynn moves to the Thursday action against Detroit. If you're a Lance Lynn season-long owner, you're very happy about that. Against Casey Mize, over-under 7.5 on this one. Mize is 67 on DK, 82 on FanDuel. Lynn, 97 on DK, 11,000 on FanDuel, and I am playing all of the Lance Lynn tonight, Bogman.
Yeah, Lance Lynn is going to be chalk. I tell you what, though, I don't hate Casey Mize. 6 innings pitched for a while now. Two out of his last 3 are quality starts. Last game against what was he? Last game against the White Sox was a quality start as well. So I kind of like Mize here for the 67 and 8,200. But Lynn is obviously the buy for tonight. And there's some bats to buy here. Look, I can't believe I'm saying this into a microphone to human beings.
Are you doing this? Are you doing
Billy Hamilton has been hitting.
Yep.
I mean, he's 3,800 on DK, so maybe you don't want to pay that for him, which is completely understandable. But 2,400 on FanDuel is a nice price. Like if I'm picking someone between Hamilton and Pavin Smith, I'm going to take Pavin Smith, right? But and Pavin Smith's a little bit cheaper too. But at 2,400, he's a little bit of a free square. The rest of the bats are, guys, Abreu, Anderson, Madrigal has been hitting. Jake Lamb has been hitting if he's in the lineup, 37 and 26. And then I don't really want any Tigers bats with Lance Lynn out there.
Yeah, the Casey Mize thing is a very, very intriguing one. It'd be a nice contrarian play if you need an SP2. As you mentioned, he's gone 6 innings or more in 4 or 5. He's gone 5 innings or more in 5 straight starts. 2 earned runs or less in 5 straight, 1 earned run or less in 4 or 5, 18 or more fantasy points in 4 straight games. He's finally starting to strike guys out, 6 or more in 3 straight, as you mentioned. It's intriguing. The White Sox bats are scary good, and we know this, but we've also seen them go quiet at times. So I could see it as a contrarian angle, getting some Casey Mize as an SP2. I wouldn't use him on FanDuel. I wouldn't do him there. But as an SP2 on DK, I can see it. Otherwise, Lance Lynn, he is going to be chalky, as you mentioned. That's too good of a matchup against Detroit. That's one of those I'll live and die with type situations. Not the Alex Manoah situation. This is much, much different. Minnesota at the Kansas City Royals. We have the one, the only J.A. Happ against Chris Bubic. Happ 7,000 on DK, 68 on FanDuel. Bubic 69 on DK, 66 on FanDuel. And Happ is very live in this one, Bogman.
Hard pass on Happ for me. No, thank you.
Really?
Yeah, he's a landmine, dude, and just hasn't been good recently. So I'm going to hard pass on Happ. I actually kind of like Bubic. Minnesota hasn't been hitting. This is a slight schedule here with only 8 games. So I kind of like him at 69 and 66. He's a nice, cheap option. And there's some PVB data on both sides here, but a lot of, Carlos Santana 8 for 17 against Happ with a double, 7 for 20 for Salvador Perez with 2 homers and a double. Hanser Alberto has 2 bombs against Happ and is 7 for 20 in his career against him. So they got to find a way to get him in there. But Cruz 3 for 6 with a bomb off of Bubic. Polanco 4 for 8 with a double, 2 for 6 for Miguel Sano with a double. And then, Donaldson's been hitting a little bit recently, but other than that, there's not a lot in Minnesota that's been going well for them. That's why Merrifield is expensive, 54 and 32. Andrew Benintendi and Michael Taylor, if he's in the lineup, are all in play for me as well.
I'm always a fan of Bubic. I don't mind that at all. That's a guy I fully support. He's actually been good the last few starts out there. If I had to ask you now, if you had to pick one, would you rather have Bubic or Casey Mize?
Bubic.
Okay, I'm with you. I think it's a better matchup at home in that ballpark. I can definitely go with you there on the Bubes. So check that one out, everybody. Cincinnati at the St. Louis Cardinals. Another game we don't have a total for yet. It looks like Gutierrez is going to be taking the bump for Cincinnati. FanDuel has Castillo, but everywhere else I've seen has Gutierrez. Gutierrez was supposed to pitch on Wednesday. That game got rained out. He's 5K on DK. You got Wainwright 98 on DK, 9,000 on FanDuel. I don't know. If you want to get really weird with Gutierrez, I get it, but I think I'm more interested in bats in this game.
Yeah, I'm a bats, no pitching. First start of the year for Wainwright was against Cincinnati. He gave up 6 and 2 2/3. He has been better. He had a nice run, but like Madison Bumgarner, looks like that's over. So gonna hard pass on Adam Wainwright. And there's some PVB data against him here. Suarez 8 for 25 with a double and a triple, 3 for 11 for Winker with a bomb. That's 273, 8 for 18 for Tucker Barnhart with 2 homers against him. Naquin is starting to hit a little bit again, and he's actually cheaper on DK 33 than he is on FanDuel 34. Jonathan India 3,000, 2,300 is starting to pick it up a little bit. And the only 2 guys hitting really in the Cardinals lineup are O'Neill and Edman right now. Goldie went yard tonight against the Dodgers, of course, but he always goes yard against the Dodgers. So Gutierrez isn't terrible. I would rather have him at his price than Wainwright. I'll say that.
Yeah, that's kind of the way I'm looking at it. But then the more we talk about Buick and Casey Mize, I might go that route over Gutierrez, because I just don't know how far Gutierrez is going to go in the game. He was decent in his first appearance. I won't go that far to say he wasn't. He went 5 innings, 2 hits, 1 earned, only 3 Ks against the Cubs through 67 pitches. So we're thinking maybe 75, 80 pitches.
Yeah, and I think that's like his absolute max too. So he's got to be efficient to put you up points.
That's tough. And the other thing is if he's out early, that Cincinnati bullpen is garbage. So St. Louis could be a very interesting stack in this one. If you want to ride some Goldie and maybe some Arenado with the Edmonds and O'Neills, and Carlson with deep again, he's actually heating up too. He's very affordable. So you could have some fun. I wish the game was in Great American Small Park. Let's put it that way. Be a lot more fun. Seattle at the Los Angeles Angels of Anaheim. Justice Sheffield against Griffin Canning, over under 8.5. Sheffield 79 on DK, 64 on FanDuel. Canning 94 on DK, 84 on FanDuel. Canning's in play just because it's Seattle, but I'm not sure on there. I like him more on FanDuel than DK. I'll say that much.
Yeah, and 2 of his last 3 are quality starts, and his last start against Seattle, he was 5 1/3, no earned runs, 9 strikeouts, which is a season high, and 2 walks. So, and he's getting priced up. This feels like how every hitter is getting priced up in Coors Field. Like every pitcher against Seattle is going to get priced up a little bit. So, we're seeing that. We're seeing it trend that way anyway. But Canning is in play. Not a lot of bats in play. I mean, obviously, if you want to go with Rendon, Fletcher and Ward have been hitting a little bit too, and they are both cheap, but it's the same 3 guys in Seattle. You know, it's Haniger, it's Ty France, it's Tom Murphy. Those are the guys that have been hitting recently. Outside of those guys, and really including those guys, I don't want any part of Seattle's offense right now.
Yeah, it's tough. I'm kind of just fading this game, I think. If you want to go with Rendon, who looks like he might be getting it going, I'm cool with that. But otherwise, I think I'll just plant my flag elsewhere on this slate. One of those games that really is a tough one to nail down. 4 true outcomes, as we used to say. Cubs at the Giants. Zach Davies, Anthony DeSclafani, over under 8 on this one. And Davies 61 on DK, 66 on FanDuel. DeSclafani 71 and 77. I'm not as in love with the pitchers on this game, especially once we talked about Mize and Bubic. Kind of takes me off of Disco. But if you want some value, the Giants have a lot of left-handed value in that lineup against Davies.
Yeah, exactly. So it's guys like Chris Bryant, Patrick Wisdom's been hitting too. Chris Bryant, Jock Peterson, Javier Baez, and then your guys, the PVB data here for Wilmer Flores, 2 for 5, 2 for 6 for Dickerson, 5 for 11 for Peterson, 8 for 23 for Bryant with 2 homers, 3 homers for Jock Peterson against DeSclafani. And then, Dubon is still cheap, 33 and 21. Duggar is 24 on both. So there's some cheap options out of your Giants as well.
Yeah, Wade will probably lead off and play first base. That's always a good one. Duggar should play in the outfield because Yaz is hurt because he ran into the wall on Tuesday. You might get some cheap Talkman. You mentioned Dickerson's affordable. Yes, all that. The ref Snydering. I like how 2 days later, then they put him on the concussion IL. It's like, no, didn't have one the first day. It sunk in the second day. That's what it was. Like, come on. But if that was the NFL, they'd be getting dragged under the carpet. Yeah. But there's a lot of value in this game. If for some reason you want to go with Lynn and this next guy we're going to talk about, you can easily do it with guys from the Giants and make it happen. That next guy we're talking about, New York Mets at the San Diego Padres, it's not Taijuan Walker, folks. It's Yu Darvish. The over-under is 7 in this game. Walker is 10-3 on DK, which kind of surprised me a bit. I get San Diego's bats are cold.
Yeah.
But for reals, like you got Darvish at 10-7. He's 11-5 on FanDuel against the New York Mets, who did hit well, but let's be fair, Bogman, it was the Diamondbacks. So
really Diamondbacks' horrible bullpen. So
I think Darvish is pretty darn good in this one.
Yeah. I mean, Darvish, like you said, he's expensive, but he's worth it, and he's the biggest one here. Walker is fine, but he's too expensive. Like, if you're gonna pay that much, just pay for Darvish, right?
Yep. So, or pay down for Lynn. Like, I'd rather have either of those two over Walker.
Exactly. So I like Walker, but not at that price. And because the pitching is so good, it makes me off of bats in this game. There's not really a lot I want here.
Yeah, there's not much at all here. It's one of those similar to the Manoah situation. Darvish will be super chalky. So if you want to hope the Mets stay out with Dom Smith, who swung it well, and Lindor's had multiple hit games in a row, maybe he's slowly getting it going. Like, if you want to put a couple Mets out there, you can, but I'm going to prefer to watch Darvish and hopefully just watch Darvish deal because it's beautiful when he does that. It's great baseball to watch. So, Darvish and Lynn up top. I think we're kind of on the same page there. But and you got Bubic over Mize. Anybody else that really is a focus for you pitching wise on this one?
A focus? No. I mean, the next guy would probably be Canning for me against Seattle.
Yeah. I don't hate Canning. I think it's interesting, especially just Seattle narrative. That's one way to go about it. If you're stacking it up on this 8-game slate, who are you looking to stack with?
Yeah, there's not a ton to stack here. Maybe if you want to go with some Angels against Sheffield, if you want to go with some Cincinnati against Wainwright, I'm okay with a little KC stack, but it's expensive. It's guys like Perez and Santana and Witt and Benintendi, Benintendi being the cheap option there. Other than that, I mean, maybe there's just not good. There's bad pitchers, but not good hitters. It's not lining up very well for crystal ball stuff today. So not a lot of stacks on the slate. Yeah,
like the Arizona-Milwaukee game has appealed to me because especially if we find out like Milwaukee's got the roof open or something because it's warming up out there. That gets really entertaining. St. Louis is, if you're hoping to get into that Cincinnati bullpen, And then that San Francisco-Chicago game, winds blowing out to left. Usually doesn't matter a ton, but we've seen that ball flying out this year. That one with Disco and Davies, it's either going to be like 2-0. There's going to be a lot of offense in that game.
Right.
That's the feel I have in that game. It's either going to be a pitcher's duel or just tons of offense. So that could be another one to have some fun with. But yeah, it's a tough one to really narrow it down. But we'll narrow it down. And if you need more help narrowing it down, go to the Google Play Store and the Apple App Store and download the LineStar app. It's that simple, folks. There's a chat room where guys are talking about stuff all day. You get the lineups there. You get the stack tools, all kinds of cool stuff, plus the optimizer, all in the palm of your hand. So go check that out and get them on Twitter at LineStar app and at LineStar MLB, and give a rating and review to the podcast on iTunes. We truly appreciate it. But that LineStar app Twitter handle, we'll tweet out the home run calls of the day. And what those are is Bogman, myself, and Ryan Humphreys give out our home run calls of the day. And if you're a retweeter and a lucky retweeter, 3 get drawn to pair up with us. And if our home run goes deep, you win some free swag. So Bogman, on this Thursday, June 3rd, who's your home run call of the day?
Keep going back and forth here, but I think what I'm going to end up doing, okay, I'm doing it. Give me Salvador Perez against J-Hap. Give me Sal. Nice track record against him. He's playing almost every single game this year so far. So give me Sal to go deep.
It's a tough slate. It's a very, very tough slate to kind of narrow down exactly where you want to go on this one. But where I'm going to Milwaukee, but I'm not going with Milwaukee. I'm going with Arizona, and Christian Walker gets things going against Brett Anderson. Brett Anderson can get tore up by some right-handed hitters. Christian Walker, a few games off the IL, getting loose. Give me some Christian Walker over there. See old Bernie not slide down the slide because it's a visiting home run. So you've got Salvi Perez, who hit 2 home runs on Tuesday. I've got Christian Walker, who's looking to figure out if his oblique's fine still. We'll see what Ryan Humphreys has, but it's good stuff. So everybody, good luck on your 8-game Thursday. Big Friday slate. We'll be back with you guys tomorrow. But Bogman's on Twitter at Bogman Sports. I'm Matt Bedientrick, and we'll catch you guys next time.
See ya.
Thank you for listening to the LineStar app On Deck podcast. Download LineStar app from the App Store or go to LineStarApp.com for all your DFS baseball needs. If you love the On Deck podcast, support KC, Bubba, and Bogman by rating and subscribing. Good luck.